I've seen has been positive. I think they're all, it's like a player that gets injured. The hardest thing for a player, at least in our sport, is when they're on the side watching, and they've been, held back, or at least, their tempo's been held back and restricted. So they're all anxious to get back, I think. I think as a rule, or as a group, that's a fair statement to make.
Jordan Cotton broke his leg. Is he going to be?
He's fine. Yeah, he's ready to go. He'll be okay. Yeah.
You have some walk-ons, maybe former walk-ons now, like Thomas and Eric Guthrie and Colin Sleeper. They're all kind of in starting roles. Are they still walk-ons? Are they scholarship guys now?
Yeah, right now they are.
Well, you got to do that in June, right?
Yeah, we've rewarded some guys in the past, and there are some carries over. But yeah, we'll do that after we move through spring practice. I'll go back to Rob Ruckerman. He had earned his, in our mind, and gave it to him in the spring because he got injured, just to try to encourage him a little bit. But in our mind was made up on that one.
With Colin Sleeper, I think he had some injury issues, and now he's all of a sudden comes out of nowhere.
He's got the right name. Yeah, Sleeper is the right name. He's just kind of been lurking in the background, and it's a little bit like the Nielsen, A.J. Eads story, or some of the other positions where we've had two starters at the safety positions that have been there a long time. So he's been laboring in anonymity or anonymity, or however you say that word. I'm not pronouncing it correctly. But he's done a good job. And, flashback to the Michigan game, he imitated one of their players. It was kind of a prominent part of our game plan. He did a great job all week, and I guess I'd equate that to Joe Forgy a little bit. We've seen Joe do some good things against Riley Reef that have really caught our eye. We're eager to see how he does this year, once he has a chance maybe to compete for a job.
And Guthrie's fifth-year senior walk-on. He really wants this job.
Yeah, if you had told me he was a candidate 4 years ago, I would have said he's really a nice young man, and he's extremely intelligent. I think he's a presidential scholar. But candidate for this job, I'd said, probably not. It's a great. That's a neat thing about college football. Last year, he really did a good job, and I think he'll do a real nice job. He's extremely conscientious, kind of like Casey Kreider, not quite the same age, but Casey's just kind of worked at it. When he got called on Minnesota, he did a great job.
What was your reaction to the Sports Illustrated report a few weeks back that you guys number 2?
Honest answer, or just a head coach's answer? It is what it is, and I guess I'd elaborate on that one. There are 18 players were cited, 15 of them were alcohol offenses, which those of us that know Iowa City, that's an issue, and I'll predict it's going to be an issue 10 years from now, 20 years from now, just like it was 20 years ago. They were all misdemeanor accounts, which I'm not condoning any of these things, but 15 on alcohol and all being misdemeanors. And I think more importantly, I've said this pretty consistently. We typically have more problems with younger players, more issues with younger players, if you will. And 11 of those violations took place when players were freshmen, and 5 more when they were sophomores. So that's 16 out of 18 in those first 2 years on campus. And I'm not condoning it, but I'm just saying college kids and alcohol, it's been an issue. We know it's an issue in this town. That's what the impetus behind the 21 rule, and which I'm in support of. Then the other side of the equation too, of those 25 teams, we're 4th in graduation success rates. So, and we're proud of that. And again, I would encourage people to know our players. If you know our players, it's not like we got. In fact, I got one that lives in our house. One of the 18 that lives in our house. He's a pretty good kid. So, at least I think he is. Mom's a little tough to get along with, but he's a pretty good kid.
Is it difficult knowing that unless you have the context of following Iowa and knowing those facts, that it looks bad?
No, yeah, and there's nothing I can do about it. And Norm Parker, leave it to Norm. Norm says it best. Nobody writes about the planes that land safely. That's not news. And so. And I'm not going to sit here tonight. We've got 18 guys. They're right on the money.
Is it fair to say that the environment in Iowa City has changed maybe more than Iowa football players have since you got here in the early 80s?
Oh, it's night and day.
Okay.
Yeah, night and day. Yeah, night and day.
And there's really no way to explain that in that type of study. You have to kind of know what's going on here.
It's night and day. Things are much different than they used to be.
How so?
When you first got